Hi, my name is Alex, and today I'll be doing a dogfight between the Motorola Droid and the HTC Droid Eris. They are both on Verizon Wireless's network, and they are both great phones. The Motorola Droid is $199.99 after a 2-year contract and $100 mail-in rebate, but the HTC Droid Eris is $99.99 after a 2-year contract and $100 mail-in rebate. So let's get started. The Motorola Droid's hardware, it has a 3.7-inch multi-touch capacitive touchscreen on the front of it, along with 4 touch-sensitive buttons, a search key, a home key, a menu key, and a back key. On the left side, it has a micro USB port. On the right side, it has a volume rocker and a dedicated camera key. On the top of it, it has a 3.5mm headphone jack and a power lock button. On the bottom, there's nothing. There's a chin right here with a microphone. The Droid Eris has a 3.2-inch capacitive multi-touchscreen with 4 touch-sensitive buttons down here as well. A search key, a back key, a menu key, and a home key. It also has call and end keys, as well as a trackball. The top of it has a 3.5mm headphone jack. The left has a volume rocker. The bottom has a HTC proprietary jack. The right side does not have anything. They are both fairly slim devices, but the HTC Eris wins because it does not have a slide-out keyboard. The Motorola Droid also has a full slide-out QWERTY keyboard with a 5-way D-pad. Both phones run Android's platform, but they are very different. The Motorola Droid runs Google's stock Android with just the 3 screens and the drop-down notification bar, along with the application menu. But the Droid Eris runs Android 1.5 with a totally different UI. It has 7 home screens. This is called HTC's Sense UI. They have built this over the Android platform. It still has the drop-down notification bar, but it has 7 screens instead of 3. The Motorola Droid has a full QWERTY slide-out keyboard. This is not the best keyboard. The keys are very flush mounted and do not have much play, so it's not the best keyboard out there. It also has a full QWERTY keyboard on the on-screen. It also has full portrait keyboard. These keyboards are very good keyboards, but the portrait keyboard is harder to use, and if you have big thumbs like I do, it can make it very hard to type. The landscape keyboard is excellent. So let me type out a message. So I was able to do that with no mistakes. It also has autocorrect. Now the HTC Droid does not have any slide-out keyboard. It's full on screen. Now it is an HTC built keyboard, so it is not the same keyboard as that. Show you. Now this keyboard I find much easier to use in portrait, and I don't make nearly as many mistakes. It also does have autocorrect. The landscape keyboard is also an excellent keyboard, and I really like this keyboard. And I do like the keyboard on the Droid Eris much better than any of the keyboards on this. Even though it is a smaller screen, I just find them to be much easier to type on and a much better keyboard all around. Both phones have great browsers. You can use the search key down here to search for whatever you'd like. Type in phone dog. This is over Verizon's 3G network right now. While that's loading, I'll show you the Droid Eris's. The Droid Eris also has haptic feedback, as well as the Droid. Alright. They're pretty fast browsers at loading speeds over Verizon's 3G network. Now the Motorola Droid does not have multi-touch in the native browser. There is an add-on browser you can get, but it's not the best browser to use. It has double tap, which works very well, smooth, and the picture quality is very good. It also has tab browsing and bookmarks. The Droid Eris does have multi-touch in the native browser. Also has double tap. I liked having the multi-touch. I think that's a great addition. It also has bookmarks and tabs. But overall, they are both great browsers. But I think the browser, the Droid Eris, is better. As for email, they both receive push email through Gmail, but the other emails are only updated every 5 to 15 minutes, which is still pretty fast, but it's not push email. The only push email you're going to get is for Gmail. Both of the Droids have 5 megapixel cameras, but the Motorola Droid has one with autofocus, flash, and image stabilization. But the HTC Eris does not have flash or image stabilization. It just has the camera, the 5 megapixel camera. The picture quality on both of them are very good, but I find the Motorola Droid, it can be quite slow at times. I'll show you. It has been improved over updates, but it still is pretty slow. But the HTC Eris takes pictures very fast. Like that. I'll show you one more time on the Droid. If you're looking for speed in cameras, you're going to want to go with the HTC Eris. But if you want to go with something that can take pictures in the dark and is a more stable image, then I would go with the Motorola Droid. Both phones have multimedia capabilities. The Motorola Droid runs a stock Android one with searches for artists, albums, songs, and playlists. You can also resume the song you were playing by pressing down here. It has a very loud speaker. Droid Eris also has multimedia, but is one that HTC has built on over the normal Android one. Now this one is really cool. It has a cover flow-like feature that I really like. I think this is much better than the stock Android one. They can both also play movies on many different file formats, but otherwise I really like the music player much better on the Droid Eris. So overall, they are both great phones, but if I had to choose one, I would go with the HTC Eris. Just because it's $100 less, but also, I don't find myself using the keyboard on this very much, so it just seems more like a waste of space. I like the on-screen keyboard on this also just as much. I don't really need a bigger screen, because I don't do a lot of movie watching. I do listen to music quite a bit, so I like having the music on this. But if you need to have a hardwired keyboard, then I definitely go with the Motorola Droid. Even though it's not the best keyboard, some people really do like it, and it is a keyboard. I also really like the trackball on the HTC Eris. But overall, they are both great phones, both on Verizon's network, and you can't go wrong with either of them. Thanks for watching.